What is going on, Steelers family? We are back with another film session, and we had to come in here and talk about Jack Sawyer. He was absolutely one of my favorite players coming out of this draft, a guy where I know that not all 122 players picked before him were better. This player has been turning heads throughout training camp and preseason, and I believe he'll make an impact as soon as this regular season starts. So let's break this player down and see what he did against the Panthers. So on this play here, you'll see Jack Sawyer go to one of his favorite moves, something he learned a lot in college, the inside rip. Watch how this player plants, takes the inside lane, and uses his left arm to rip through the tackle. The lineman never has a chance to recover, and Sawyer shoots straight inside the backfield for a tackle for loss. And that's the type of move that separates him because it's not just raw power, it's technique, timing, and awareness all coming together. And this is the kind of energy you like to see from a new Steelers defender. So we'll go ahead and split it. So locking on this play here, just studying the movement from Jack Sawyer, just firing off the ball and giving him that inside rip. The thing is, when you're playing that defensive end position, you're playing that outside linebacker position, with this player being 6'5", 270 pounds, I believe he has the talent to be able to do both. And every second matters when it comes down to playing these positions, getting to the backfield and making a beeline straight to the running back. And this is what this player has been doing consistently all throughout Ohio State, just finding ways to be able to give him a quick rip move and destroy these plays. Now, I'm not saying that this player has the most savvy moves as far as a pass rusher, but when you do have a player like TJ Watt with him, it's going to allow this player to take that next step. So that quick inside move, blowing that tackle off of his spot, is how this player could be able to make his money early on in the NFL. And we all know that the Steelers is stacked at that edge rusher position with guys like Nick, you got Alex Highsmith, as well as TJ Watt. But when you do have a player in Jack Sawyer, it's hard to keep this player off the field. Sometimes you just know players with that dog mentality, and he has that in him. And plays like that are why people are so high on Jack Sawyer. The size, the speed, the technique, it's all there. If he keeps stacking reps like this, it's only a matter of time before he's making the same plays on Sundays when it counts. Here's another rep where Sawyer shows off another go-to from his college days, the inside swim move. Watch how quick he's off the ball, sliding across the line of scrimmage with another swim to slip right past the blocker. He doesn't just get through clean, he closes fast and delivers punishment to the runner, shutting the play down before it even develops. So let's spin it. So locking on this play here, you see he's lined up out wide, baiting that tackle in with a quick hop and gives him that quick swim move. So the inside rip and that swim move is absolutely two of his go-tos. So he gets into position, scrapes across the line of scrimmage, and delivers the boom. And it's so good to be able to see this with this kind of player because when you can bring that energy, usually it can rub off on everybody on the entire defense. Even guys like TJ Watt. He is a veteran, but a player like Jack Sawyer, he's one of those young bulls that is ready to get this thing rolling. And being a player that is 270 pounds, when you can be snappy like that, that is something that you can't coach. And all it takes is half a second for you to be able to blow up these plays. And like we said before, he's not the most elite pass rusher as far as his hand usage, but I honestly believe with his skill set, if he can be that sponge and keep learning, there is nothing that this player can't do. And if you see a lot of these rookie defensive ends and these rookie outside linebackers, they don't usually make this kind of noise this early on. He is playing up against a lot of these players that might end up being janitors or they might end up being truck drivers. But at the same time, if you can be able to do this at the next level this early on, I know he has what it takes to flash this kind of ability in the regular season. But this play is definitely textbook stuff right there. Quick hands, quick feet, and finishing with force. When a rookie is already winning like that, it's only a matter of time before offenses have to start game planning for him. Pressuring the quarterback is everything in today's NFL. Every second counts, Steelers family. And Jack Sawyer is already showing he can do that consistently. On this stunt, he loops inside and collapses the pocket, forcing the quarterback to rush and float a bad ball out to the running back. And that's the kind of disruption that we talk about that doesn't always show up on a box score, but it changes drives. So let's run it. So running this play here, you see the defensive tackle being a crash guy and Sawyer being that looper. This is why I love stunt plays because it can absolutely blow up these quarterbacks. So he was able to close in, and get straight to him. And sometimes when these quarterbacks is rushing to throw these kind of balls, this is how you can be able to force these turnovers. And as you can see, that running back is wide open, but the aggression and the quickness from a guy like Jack Sawyer completely ruined this play. And this is what you love to see when it comes down to your new Steelers defender. And like I said, these plays here do not show up in a box score, but it matters when you're watching film. And this is why I love to be able to break these kind of plays down. You will not find this kind of high quality anywhere, breaking these plays in good detail and slowing it down. So make sure you guys tap in with me because we will be breaking down Steelers content all throughout this season. But to see a player that you can be able to utilize on stunts, inside rip moves, you can set the edge very well. It's going to be interesting to see how the coaches can be able to dial a player like him up, because you are absolutely doing yourself a disservice if he is not seeing the field. We know that Highsmith, guys like TJ Watt, they will get their burn and they will make plays, but having all of these guys on the field, it's going to give these opposing offenses something extra to think about. But that pressure play here might not go down as a sack, but it still wrecked the play, and that's exactly what you want from a young pass rusher. On this snap here, Sawyer takes an inside move and doesn't get to the runner right away on a screen play. But what stands out here is his motor. He keeps chasing, fights through traffic, and tracks down the ball carrier from behind. An effort like this can force turnovers when the ball carrier never sees it coming. Playing to the whistle is what coaches love and fans notice. So we go ahead and run it. So locking on this play here, you see that he storms inside. Sometimes when you do see him knife inside, he can kind of get himself off balance and wipe himself out of the play. So that is something that we'll have to pay attention to. But you see that he's stumbling, finds his footing, and continues to track down the ball. And sometimes when you can be able to blow up a player like this quickly, you could potentially jar that ball loose. And these are the things here that I love to be able to see on film. If you're away from the play, do you have that effort to keep going? And if you can show that, it's hard to be able to keep a player like this off the field. And I have to mention it again, just being around a guy like TJ Watt and you're already a talented player is everything. With TJ Watt, with that cross chop, you see him use that ghost rush. Those are some of the moves that Watt can teach him. So it's only going to sharpen up this guy's skill set. And with these teams in the NFL, they cannot draft well. I remember when I was looking at the draft and I was saying that this player is going to be special. But of course, his name is Jack. And you know that the Steelers was on their way to go get this guy. You cannot pass up on a player named Jack. I'm telling you that right now. He's one of the athletes that brought it week in and week out for the Buckeyes and has been doing it all throughout training camp. But plays like this prove that effort is just as valuable as talent, and Sawyer's effort is non-stop. Here's a play where we see Sawyer collapse the line of scrimmage, attacking the tight end's outside shoulder. He stays low, disengages with his hands, and then squares up and lays a body on the runner. And this is picture perfect edge play here. Setting the edge, shedding the block, and finishing the rep. So let's run it. So running this play here, you see he's lined up across that tight end. With this player being 270 pounds, you do not want these tight ends not having any help. So you see that he's attacking that outside shoulder with complete control and leverage, disengages, and gets in on that action. And the defensive tackle was already there to stop the play, but I love to see these guys going out there and rallying to the ball and finding ways to be able to hunt in packs. And this is classic Steelers defense right here. That's why I say picking up this player in the 4th round was an absolute steal. And I honestly don't think that there's any tight ends in the NFL right now that can block him one-on-one. So if offenses are going to try to do it, then good luck. And as far as this defense as a whole, when you do have TJ Watt and everybody we named on the front 7, on top of having guys like Jalen Ramsey, it's going to be exciting to see if these guys can be able to mesh well together and get this thing rolling. Because it's not always about having a lot of big names. The chemistry got to be there. There has been a plethora of defenses over the years that had a lot of star players, but they couldn't get everybody on the same page. So bringing in big time talent is the first part, but everybody's going to have to dial in. But with a player in Jack Sawyer, he's a good player on and off the field. So he has that 1-2 to make a difference. But this play here ended up being another dominant one from Jack Sawyer. And that's how you control the edge. Beat the block, find the ball, and shut it down. On this rep here, Sawyer loops inside and collapses the pocket, forcing the quarterback to roll out and get off his spot. And like we said on the previous plays, This kind of pressure does not always show up on a stat sheet, but it completely changes the rhythm of an offense. So let's run it. Running this play here, just watching Jack Sawyer. Another solid play from this player, just looping around a defensive tackle and getting into position. And just seeing a player so slippery like this, it is everything. Completely blowing up that center and scaring off the quarterback. And it's so good to be able to see this from Jack Sawyer, imposing his will on this player and knocking this guy on his melon. So the quarterback is running off for his life, finds his way outside the pocket, and runs out of bounds. But these are the things here that quarterbacks remember when you do have a player that can be able to get in there so quickly. These coaches, they have to be able to account for a player like Jack Sawyer. And the beauty about it is they already shift so much focus when it comes down to TJ Watt. He's going to see a lot of double teams, and with players like Highsmith as well as Jack Sawyer, they will see a lot of one-on-ones, and that is their opportunity to go out there and get busy. Move the quarterback off his spot, and the whole play falls apart. Sawyer's already showing that he can do that. So on this final play here, it was another effort play by Jack Sawyer, just showing that he belongs and a guy that will lay it all out for his team. The same energy he brought with the Buckeyes. So let's run it. So lock it on this play here. You see that they got him looping around again. That is something that we need to pay attention to when we get down to the regular season, because that's how I think they're going to dial this player up. But you see that they gave the running back the ball on a quick screen, but Jack Sawyer sees it and delivers a nice blow to that running back. It's all about having that effort, not just the defensive line, the linebackers, as well as the secondary. If all of these players can be on the same page, the sky is truly the limit on what these players could potentially do. Now, I'm not saying that this defense is perfect as a whole. There are a lot of things that they can work on, but bringing in a player like Jack Sawyer just makes everybody better. All he needs is an opportunity, Steelers family. So it's going to be good to see how it all plays out this season. I am so excited football is back. And just like I said earlier, we will be breaking down a lot of Steelers film, some of the best film that you will see on YouTube. So make sure you guys tap in with me. But as far as a guy like Jack Sawyer, he has been highly productive coming out of Ohio State, and he's doing the same thing early on with the Steelers. It might not be perfect for him. There's a lot of things that he needs to learn, but being around TJ Watt as well as these coaches will absolutely bring the best out of him. But he's going to have to lock in and focus and be that sponge and find his way. But comment below and let me know what you guys think about Jack Sawyer and who else do y'all want to see me break down just like this video. So make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe and hit that notification bell, because the way the YouTube algorithm works, if you don't hit it, you'll miss on fire updates and the best football film sessions on YouTube. All right, Steelers family. Talk to y'all soon. Gone.